Hello, everyone, and welcome to my world. I appreciate you being here with me. Okay, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the top 7 things that I noticed about Colombians. Okay, let's get started. Right, number 7. I noticed this the last time I was in Colombia, and I also noticed this again. Colombians can be very helpful. I mean, very helpful. I've been to a lot of places, and I feel that Colombians are, are very helpful. Every time I've been lost, I've never had a problem with anyone going out their way to help me. Because I did tell you guys before when I was trying to get my Uber, and my Uber was sending me messages, and I didn't know what he was saying. That this young man stayed with me, and he texted the Uber driver and told the Uber driver where we were at, and he waited until I got my Uber. And I also remember a couple of years ago when I was lost in the lower part of El Poblado, and I was looking for the subway, and this guy walked me all the way to the subway. Okay, so yes, they are very helpful. Okay, number 6. Number 6, grateful. They're very grateful. And what do I mean by that? I noticed that I mean for me, I always make sure when someone gives me good service that I take care of them. And I noticed that a lot of times when I gave tips, the whether it's a female or a guy gave tips and they really looked at the money, it was the fact that I gave something to them made them really happy. I mean, like really, they was really grateful just to receive something. I mean, a lot of times I don't believe there that they expect anything. They just go out their way and they do their job. But times that I gave money at Subways or any restaurant I gave to, that person was like really grateful. I mean, really grateful. Even like when I had my driver, he dropped me off, and I said, "Yeah, you take me, and I'll take care of you." And so he took me to my location, and I paid him really well, and he looked and he was like shocked, and he was just like so grateful. So I kept seeing that a lot, even at my hotels. Whenever I go to a hotel, I always, like I said in my videos, I always buy things and give the employees that do a good job and treat me well. I bring things back for them, and they were like very, really grateful. Okay. Um, and when I left my hotel that I stayed in this time, the ladies that were working in cafeteria, I made sure I gave them all money. And the young lady that kept my room clean, I gave her money. She was like grateful, really grateful. And that made me feel good that I could, give back, because the people work hard and they don't really make a lot of money. And so I noticed that. And yeah, so I would say, Colombians are very grateful. The ones that I encountered in the stores. All right, number 5. I noticed this, and I think I've heard this stuff before, that Colombians really enjoy their malls and stuff. That's like the place that they go after work, and they spend a lot of time in the malls, the chilling in the malls with their friends, sitting down, having something to eat, talking, on their laptops, you know, just enjoying quality time alone or with their friends, or just walking around and shopping. So I noticed, I really noticed that, especially like, I don't know, 5 o'clock, and it's especially on the weekends, the malls are like crowded, really, really crowded. I've been to some malls where I'm trying to go sit down and get and eat, and it's just like there's so many people in the malls eating and chilling and having a good time. You can't even find anywhere to sit down or stand. All right, so the mall is something. especially on the weekends that can be really crowded. Number four. Number four. Let me look down at my notes. Oh, I didn't notice this before, but I noticed it this time. That Colombians, man, I know all people do, but I'm talking about Colombia right now because I just noticed this and it just hit me. I can't remember what mall I was in. It was an upscale mall. Colombians really, really, you hear me? You hear me? Really love their dogs. I was in this one upscale mall, and everywhere I turned, people had their dogs. And you know, like here in the United States, it's rare to see people with their dogs. You really don't see that. You really, at least here in Boston, you really don't see people with the dog. You may see one person might have a little dog. Okay, you might see one. It's rare to see even two people walking around the mall with the dogs. And when I was walking around this upscale mall, I think it was like my second day, and I seen a lot of people. I don't know if it was a dog show or what, but a lot of people are walking around with the dogs like it was nothing in the mall, and I'm like, what? What's this? And people had some beautiful dogs. The dogs had nice cuts, really, really fancy cuts and stuff. Nice outfits, really nice outfits on. Everybody's just walking around with the dogs and stuff. Most of the dogs were getting along. Some dogs were like trying to get at each other, barking at each other like crazy, and people were laughing at them. But yeah, I noticed that, and they like treat the dogs like babies and stuff. Because I don't know if I mentioned this, because one time I was sitting down and this man came with this big, beautiful dog, like a big poodle or something, must have been mixed. And he was cut really nice and he had a really nice outfit on. And he was well groomed. And so when the man sat down next to me and he had the dog on his side, and the dog squeezed in between me and sat right next to me, and I jumped up. And the man got mad and he pulled the dog and told the dog to sit on the floor and stuff. Okay, so I can tell from what I was seeing that a lot of these people that I saw at the mall, they treated the dogs like babies and stuff. And there was a lot of beautiful ones just walking around. They was hooked up nice, like they was coming from a dog show and stuff. All right, and number three. Number three. Let me look at my notes. Colombian breakfast. I didn't notice this before the last time I was in Colombia, but I definitely noticed the hotel that I stayed in. It was a great place. And when I came down for breakfast, I kept seeing a lot of Colombian food, and I was like, man, I'm not eating that. And so I think for the first week, I was eating a lot of scrambled eggs and toast and a lot of fruit. And the fruit was fresh. It was like better than the fruit in the US. It was like really fresh. I was having big bowls of fruit and I was taking some back to my room. Okay, so it was like all of the fruit was so sweet. I swear it was so sweet. It was like having being addicted to a drug. I was just like eating a lot of fruit. It was looking at me. Then I would take some back up to my room. But after the second week and stuff, after eating scrambled eggs for one whole week and making egg sandwiches and stuff for my breakfast, I was like looking at the food, and a lot of the food was like rice and beans, and I was like, rice and beans for breakfast? This is nuts. Okay, this is nuts. And I'm like, I don't know about this. And then they had like soup with meat and potatoes and stuff in it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So I'm like getting mad. And so, like, matter of fact, that's the day I think I met my friend from New York. And I was asking him, like, how's this? He was like, yeah, it's pretty good. So I got this soup that had nice big chunks of meat and potatoes in it. And I tried it. Yeah, it was pretty decent. And I also just went back and got some because it didn't fill me up. I had to go back and get some toast and some eggs and stuff too to try to fill myself up. So yeah, for breakfast there was a lot of soup with fruit and potatoes in. And then I also started trying the after a while, I said, okay, let me start trying these. I'm in Colombia, I gotta try the food, the rice and beans. And then they had some different types of meat that they cooked up, like maybe two or three different types that was chopped up with yams and stuff in it, and it was fried. And I was like, "Oh man, this stuff is good." I was going back for a second. I kind of was being a pig and stuff, okay, because I have a big appetite in the morning, which usually back in the States I don't eat in the morning. But yeah, so the breakfast that I started eating a lot of the Colombian food I like. So there's Colombian food that I really like, and you have to try also. Don't just first. I know we see things and we're saying, "Oh, I don't think I would like that." You have to at least try. Okay. Number two. Another thing I noticed about Colombians that really surprised me, they're really into American fast food. I'm like, I was shocked. I was shocked because they had some really good food and stuff. And I noticed this a lot in the malls and stuff. Pizza Hut, Burger Kings, Subways, a lot of American restaurants. But the strange thing is that the McDonald's, the McDonald's in Colombia is different from the McDonald's here. Their McDonald's are really, really nice, like a nice, elegant restaurant. I mean, like really, really nice, really clean. Okay, and people are all sitting in there like they're sitting in an elegant restaurant and McDonald's, and they're eating. And the place is like usually all the McDonald's are really full with a lot of people, and I'm looking like, what? McDonald's? All these people in the yeah, a lot of, especially at the Santa Fe Mall. That McDonald's is really beautiful, and they have like people. That place be crowded, really crowded. It's so crowded that they have on the side, right up on the side, that they have a little opening where you can go and just get ice cream. All right, it's just for the ice cream. Okay, and they got that hooked up pretty nice. All right, so I'm really surprised about that. How they really like Subways, Pizza Huts. The Pizza Huts, every time I walked by, because Pizza Huts was actually near my hotel, and that place was always really crowded. So like a lot of American restaurants, they were really into it. KFCs, yes, the KFCs were like really crowded. So that kind of like surprised me. And number one, this threw me off. I think I noticed it before, but I really noticed it this time. Colombians like to wear apparel, shirts, t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, everything with English writing on it. I'm like, I kept seeing people like walking around with New York, Los Angeles, all this different stuff on in Boston. Kept seeing a lot of Boston stuff on. I kept thinking people were from Boston. I was asking, "Oh, you from Boston?" It was like they didn't know what I was talking about. I'm like, got all this Boston stuff on, Boston Celtics jerseys, New York jersey, LA jersey. I kept seeing that. Chicago, I kept seeing that stuff a lot, and I kept thinking they were from the States. They weren't from the States. Now, the funny thing is something that I did that I could have got myself in a lot of trouble. And thank God I didn't get into trouble. I was walking down the street and I see this beautiful lady. She's probably was in her 40s and looked like she had some money. And she was walking with her husband. So I'm coming from the Santa Fe mall, and she had something on her shirt, right? And she had a huge chest. And I wasn't thinking about that. But I just saw somebody with writing on it, and it said, "It's okay to smile at me." Okay, she had it written right here. It's okay to smile at me. And so when I seen that, I was thinking, okay, maybe she was American. So I had my mask and I took it off, And I just went up to her and I just smiled. It was a dumb move, but I was trying to use humor. And she just looked at me and she kind of like, what's up with him? And then the husband looked at me and then he just kind of like, just nodded his head and smiled. And I'm like, and they just walked away and got away from me. And I'm like, my God, I didn't even think about that. How I did that. They could have took that the wrong way. And I could have got a beat down. I could have, anything could have happened to me. Because the fact that she was big at the top and a beautiful lady, that could have been taken the wrong way. And I was like, yo, I gotta be more careful about this. So I wanted to go back and try to explain it to them, but I knew they didn't know any English or anything, so I just left it alone. I kept trying to tell myself not to do stuff like that, to be careful. All right. So that was my number one. And also I was really surprised how if you go in their stores and stuff, like in the malls, they got like American, they're really into like American TV shows, like I mean stuff from like the 60s and 70s. Like they got stores with the American stuff. I'm like, what the heck, man? I'm talking about like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, the Rugrats, all American TV comedy shows. Okay? All American PlayStation games and everything. They got all that stuff like in stores. It's like I've seen stores with just all that stuff throughout the whole store. That's it. And I'm like, what's this obsession with American TV shows? All right. Even in some of the clothing stores, they have a lot of stuff. Because I saw this hoodie and I wish I had got it. It was at that really nice mall. And it was a Monopoly hoodie. And it was really nice. And it said game over. And at that time, the price was good too, but I was being like cheap, but like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend that money. I should have got that because when I went to other stores, they didn't have it. It was just that one mall, and I should have went back to get it because it was something different that I've never seen. And I wish I had got it. All right, guys. So this is my top 7 things that I noticed about Colombians. Okay, that I noticed this time about Colombians. All right, guys, so I hope you like this video. If you don't know my name is Ajima. This is my world. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. And also, please share. I appreciate each and every one of you. Ajima's world. Take care. Peace.